Fine. If everyone could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of stand or remain standing, please, for a moment of silence as one of our dedicated longtime conservation members, Nina Petito, actually passed away last week. Our condolences to Nina and her family, and we thank you, her, for everything that she did for the town. Actually, it's because of her that the Town Conservation Commission logo exists today. I remember one of my first meetings with the commission. They were very excited that I had some graphic design skills, and Nina pulled out a business card from her wallet that had the perfect look of a tree that she wanted ingrained in the logo. So it's nice to have that piece of her that will remain with us in the town. So I'm going to make a motion to open the town board meeting of April 20th, 2026 at 7:02 p.m. Call the question.
Rivera, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Stevens, aye.
So moved. I want to take a minute before we start our community announcements, as we've had a huge amount of concern and questions regarding just activity over on Round Lake Park. So Front Street had some construction activity, more like just landscaping activity. We sent our building inspector and our highway superintendent and I went out and walked it last week. We spoke with the owner, examined the property. They are putting in a driveway. I don't know, Bill, you want to talk about just what it takes to get a permit for a driveway? And
basically just need to submit a general plan to me. A general plan to me stating on where he wanted to put the driveway. We did find the actual existing driveway that was there from back before, I was even born. So that's where he's just got to file the curb cut permit with us. I issue him his permit. He can put his driveway in, and wherever he goes from there, he's good to go on my end.
yeah, I just wanted to show everyone, basically this was gravelled. There's no permits required for graveling. The only permit that Bill just described is actually making it a formal access into a town road, right? So we need a registry of every driveway point as it accesses the legal town road as our property. So we're just in talks with the owner. There's no violations at this time. We did place a temporary stop work order because there's a stream and some wetlands. We were being overly cautious just because of the nature of lake frontage, but they've been extremely cooperative. A lot of people were told misinformation that there's some kind of playground going in here. You can see the size of this property, and most of us are aware, who've been around a long time, that this was actually subdivided off from one of these original subdivisions, these developments that went in, and kept separate just by an LLC. They've always intended one day to make it homes. It is 1 acre, 1 lot, so it's RR1 zoning. There's no playground going in. Their plan one day, many years down the line, is to make it, again, 1 home, 1 acre. They've done a lot of projects in front of the town. They're sort of old hat at this. We've never had any issues with compliance. We're concerned about environmental impacts at this time. They're not putting a project in front of us for their own reasons, but also the town is not, we're not accepting new projects at this time because of the loss of Noreen McSweeney, who is our planning board secretary, ZBA secretary as well. So we have a little pause on new projects while we find the right person and get organized and train that person up. And I put out a little video, but not everyone has access to Facebook, so I just wanted to show, people were concerned about the lake frontage. We've had questions about wetlands and streams, and you can see that, yes, they are designated different waterways. We're aware of it. Our building inspector is keeping an eye out for any issues, but again, people are entitled to a driveway on their property. This right here seems to have motivated the activity, as the state basically had a case in front of it that was increasing the strength of state level wetlands protections. So they went ahead and mapped all of these informational freshwater wetland spaces that were smaller contiguous wetlands than what is currently protected by the law in some cases, and that's what this is. So I guess they decided that they wanted to act now while that case was held up in court. It was actually overturned on a SECRA procedural defect. So I think that basically the activity is that if it's legal today, they're gonna go ahead and put a driveway in there while it's easier for them, and instead of waiting till years down the line when they might have to go and get more in-depth studies. As far as the town concerned, again, we're there to mitigate any sort of impact, and we're not worried about any sort of impact at this time. You had a culvert over there. I don't know if you wanted to just touch on that briefly.
What happened there is during major rains, there was an existing 24-inch culvert pipe that ran across the county sewer. Has a pump house down there or a transfer station, whatever they do and there was a culvert pipe that ran across the entrance to that and terminated out in a stream next to the property in between two houses on Front Street, and which then went down to Round Lake. What we did last year is we installed a 3-foot culvert crossing Front Street and then crossing Front Street again, terminating in the exact same spot as the 24-inch original culvert, and we left that 24-inch there. Then we backfilled behind it and installed another culvert there as an insurance policy, as like an overflow in case it really got crazy. And I believe that's the culvert pipe that everybody was up in arms over.
Yeah, they were concerned that just activity in that area was going to impact the, floodplain. And we're working now with 21 Front Street over here. Their house really is in the path of the stream.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to find some kind of mitigation. It has nothing to do with this neighboring
Well,
property.
I believe that 3-foot culvert pipe that we installed.
Oh, it definitely helped.
So I think that may have solved the problem.
I think he sees it in heavy rain, so we're definitely going to keep an eye out for it. I don't think he knew that
No,
his house...
I watched that like a hawk because I worry about it.
He did not know his house was in the stream's path. Like, if you see the old stream, it seems like at some point it was rerouted. So that's why there's so much issues over there, is at some point, this stream back in, 1912, it didn't look like a large river, and sometimes it runs dry, especially at the tail end. And I think someone just paved over it at some point in the 60s. So that's what we deal with, and we keep an eye on that kind of a thing. So I think it's okay now to start the community announcements. I can just unplug, right?
Yeah, hold on, let me.
Have our lovely assistant over here.
Oh, no, well, lovely. All right, we should.
All right, perfect. Unless you want to chair the meeting. Okay. So we've got mobile DMV coming to Town Hall April 27th. They do their periodic stop. They're going to be there from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., closed for lunch from noon to 1, and reopen at 1 o'clock to 3:30. And they take care of all registration transactions and license transactions except for permit tests. So that is a really helpful service. What do we have? So we are still accepting submissions for our community art exhibition. We have been in touch with the school district and have been pleased to find very excited art teachers and students alike who will be displaying their art. If anyone in the public is interested or knows of anyone who may be interested in participating in a first-time town art show here at Town Hall, please just have them take a picture of art that is ready to hang. They can keep it in their possession. Have them email it to supervisor@townofmonroeny.gov with just their name, information about the painting, and we will be in touch with them. The submission deadline is May 4th, with the art show to be scheduled sometime in June. And next up, we have the clean.
Mike isn't on, Mary.
Oh, hello. Oh, that's it. Okay. So give me 1 second. We're going to have Upcycle there. They're going to do all the shredding for us. That's one of the items that's going to be present there. We're also going to accept tires that are not on rims. And Bill Brown really appreciates that, because tires are a bad thing in the summer because mosquitoes love to breed there and other little critters make their home there. So please take the tires off the rims. There's going to be electronics disposal, so if you have computers, laptops, iPads, I'm even assuming old phones if you wanted to get rid of them. Textile recycling. It's amazing how much we wear that ends up in landfills. So this is another option that it's going to be recycled, and they're turning, I believe I saw a video about how textiles can be turned into plastics and made into other products. So the Conservation Commission will also be there, and oil recycling will be held at Freeman. So if you're doing like a lawnmower change or some other item that needs oil and you want to get it recycled, bring it to Freeman's. There will be a shuttle bus going from St. Anastasia's to different locations where you can help to pick up people's garbage that they have thrown out their car windows. We want to keep Monroe beautiful. And I believe it starts at 8 o'clock.
12.
Yes, 8 o'clock. Okay, and if you have any questions, you can always give us a call. We'll be glad to answer them.
We're also going to be posting some routes ahead of time this year, just so that community members can be fully aware of basically, the time commitment. We've got the classic sports teams, Cub Scouts, everyone, good volunteers show as of this point, but we'd like to see more people signed up. We do get a lot of walk-ins, but it would be great to have that number nailed down. So if you know you're participating, please just sign up with our link on the website ahead of time. It would help us out. Val, you want to go ahead with the community garden?
Okay, so the master gardeners for our garden right outside here, they're going to be volunteering doing a 30-minute gardening lessons. There's 6 different lessons. Wednesday, April 22nd at 6 p.m. we'll be planting your vegetable garden. Wednesday, May 20th, 6 p.m., direct seeding and transplanting. Wednesday, June 17th, 6 p.m., garden maintenance. Wednesday, June 15th at 6 p.m., pest management. Wednesday, August 19th, 6 p.m., harvesting and cooking. And Wednesday, September 16th at 6 p.m., fall gardening practices. The cost is free. The location is here. You can contact Barbara Singer in my office at bsinger@townofmonroeny.gov or 845-783-1900, extension 100.
Okay, moving on to Saturday, May 9th. The Orange County Household Hazardous Waste and Operation Safe Scripts Pharmaceutical Collection events. This is going to take place at the Orange County Transfer Station, number 1, Maintenance Garage. It's at 21 Training Center Lane in New Hampton, New York. And it's across the street from the Vid Hudson Psychiatric Center. It's going to, like I said, it's going to happen Saturday, May 9th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., rain or shine. It's sponsored by the Orange County DPW, Sheriff's Office, County Executive. And what's accepted, what to bring, oil and wet latex, stains, varnishes, paint thinners, things you would normally not throw out in the garbage, wood preservatives, resins, polishes for furniture, so on and so forth. There's a long list. But what not to bring, do not bring electronics, don't bring any dried paint, ammunition, fireworks, explosives, I'm sorry. Make sure, we got to make sure that everybody gets this, including the village. Radioactive materials, unknown gases, controlled substances, you know the deal. So please, mark your calendars, May 9th, from 9 to 3. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Beth, you want to take this?
Sure. So coming up on Wednesday, May 27th, is Orange County's 14th annual Senior Health and Fitness Day. And this year's theme is Move a Little, Live a Lot. On that Wednesday, it will be from 10 to 2 at Thomas Bull Memorial Park in the day camp area. And there's going to be a long list of resources available throughout those hours. There'll be health information and screenings, fitness and dance demonstrations, a group walk in the park, lunches provided, raffles and prizes, another opportunity for a prescription drug take-back program. They'll also cover financial health and wellness. The mobile DMV unit will be there, as well as the EMS mobile unit. But registration is required for this event. So to sign up, you need to contact Melanie Tanner. We've got a phone number here of 845-615-3736. And from what I'm looking at, you can also go back and find all this information on the Department of Health website at orangecounty.gov.
And we have our spring compost schedule for the town of Monroe. So Angelina from the Highway Department thoughtfully put this flyer together. Spring is here, warmer days are ahead, and a reminder that yard waste is not accepted with garbage pickup. But good news, there are convenient yard waste drop-off locations right here in Monroe. One is the Town of Monroe Highway Department on Bill Brown's desk, and the other is the Town of Monroe Compost Facility at the Solar Farm, 813 Lakes Road. So please sign in at the office before dropping off at the Highway Department, just to make sure that Bill is there when you dump it on his desk, and that the brush must be under 4 feet in length, branches must be no larger than 5 inches in diameter, and no logs or wood will be accepted, no commercial or business waste will be permitted, and the hours begin as a special spring scheduled, so it's 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., rain or shine, and the opening dates are Saturday, April 25th to, 3 other dates, Saturday, May 2nd, Saturday, May 9th, and Saturday, May 16th. The compost facility will close following these dates and reopen in the fall. So for any questions, please contact the Town of Monroe Highway Department at 845-782-8583. And this seems like a good time to address the topic of the compost facility. This has been debated at many town board meetings during budget talks. So I took the liberty of pulling from our budget lines with my new access as budget officer to answer this question for both the village mayors and our village residents. Basically, it was alleged by the previous administration that because the villages requested, was it item 3 and 4 exemptions, which have to do with our highway lines, basically, if a village does not have its own highway department, the town that they reside in can cover those and do their brush and weeds, and we would tax those villages in certain line items on the town side of the highway fund, so that would be in DA. However, if they do have a home rule enactment and create a highway or DPW department, they typically then manage their own brush and weeds, their own roads, and they pay those employees and tax their village residents in those village budgets. So essentially, if you don't provide those item exemptions, you're double taxing those village residents. For some reason, that was always up for debate. And when we finally gave the villages that tax break that they deserved, because those village departments were managing those services, it was said for some reason that that included exemption of the compost facility. That is not correct. So Mary and I did have the correct argument at that time. that towns, our one purpose is sort of when we buy lands, no villager is excluded. If a village buys lands, unfortunately, they can exclude town-only residents because of the way that they are taxing those village residents, right? So if a village buys a compost facility, they can limit it to village-only residents because those people are paying that in their tax bills, whereas unincorporated town of Monroe taxpayers wouldn't be charged that. However, if a town purchases land, it is in the A fund, which is the townwide fund, and those villages are being taxed for those lands and have the right to access those lands and services, including the compost facility. So we did our due diligence, and we found that all of the charges for the compost facility were in fact in the A fund the entire time. So the argument that, requesting an item 3, item 4, highway exemption, banned villagers from this service, we've cleared that up, and we're gonna be working out arrangements with the Village of Monroe and Village of Harriman mayors. So that ends that chapter. Wants to take the
I'll do the blood. So donations are going to be accepted on Saturday, April 25th, and anybody who donates will receive a $15 e-gift card to a merchant of your choice. The blood drive is going to be held at St. Paul's Church on 21 Still Road here in Monroe from 9 to 2 p.m. And there's a QR code. You can see it on there, and you can get some information from there. And the sponsor is St. Paul Lutheran and redcrossblood.org if you want more information. But it's a good thing because there's always a blood shortage. Not enough people donate.
This is this year is obviously Orange County's 250th celebration, so you can join the Woodbury Historical Society, Orange County Historian's Office, and 20 historical groups, as well as historians, to see, experience, and learn about artifacts and people who shaped the American Revolution here at home. So it is Sunday, April 26th from noon to 4 p.m. at the Woodbury Senior Center, which is 16 County Route 105 in Highland Mills. Johanna Poor always does a really great job, and so does Alex Prendergast over there. So I'm excited to see what they have going on. Okay, we'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Rivera will second.
Call a question.
Bingham,
Rivera,
aye.
aye.
Sorry, Bingham, aye.
I'm going to say that both of you said aye. Richardson, aye.
Stevens, aye.
So moved. Okay, we're on audit. Motion that the Town Board of the Town of Monroe requests approval of abstract number 26-07, General Fund containing check numbers 38168 through 37829, totaling $447,137.50.
Bingham will second.
Call question?
Rivera, aye.
Bingham, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Stevens, aye.
One, budget transfer act. So be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Monroe hereby approves budget transfer abstract number 2026-1, totaling $6,900 for 2025 expenditure adjustments, including but not limited to highway admin, garage engineering, working leader stipend, and admin equipment.
Will second.
Call the question.
Rivera, aye.
Bingham, aye.
Aye.
Budget transfer. Town Board of the Town of Monroe hereby approves budget transfer abstract number 2026-2, totaling $1,500 for 2025 expenditure adjustment, including but not limited to water admin equipment and admin miscellaneous.
Will second.
Call the question.
Rivera, aye.
Aye.
Richardson, aye.
Stevens, aye.
And we're on to new business. We have some happy news. We are having a team member join us, but first, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Monroe hereby appoints Barbara Singer as first deputy town clerk, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Barbara is currently in the second deputy position, and Barbara is moving into the first deputy town clerk position as Patricia Cash, our long-term deputy, retired on March 31st, 2026. So Barbara will be assuming the remainder of budget line item number A000-1410-1010-00 with an annual salary of $53,782.28, and this will be retroactive as of January 1st,
April 1st.
Sorry, thank you. April 1st, 2026. And terms of office to be coterminous with the term of office of town clerk. I'll make that motion.
Bingham will second.
Call the question.
Rivera, aye.
Bingham, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Stevens, aye.
Can someone just motion for those people to go around to the front door? They've been trying to get into the back hall entrance. Thank you so much.
You'll go get them. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin.
The doors have a problem. We don't want to use them. Sets off certain things.
Okay, so be it resolved that the town board of the town of Monroe hereby appoints Mildred Torres as second deputy town clerk, term to expire 12/31/2027. Mildred will be assuming the remainder of budget line item number A000-1410-1020-00 with an annual salary of $45,540.78. Start date of April 21st, 2026. Terms of office will be coterminous with the term of office of town clerk.
Bingham will second.
Call the question.
Rivera, aye.
Bingham, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Stevens, aye.
Congratulations to Mildred.
At this time, I'd like to call Mildred and her family up so that I can give her oath of office. Mildred, you're going to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Mildred Torres,
I, Mildred Torres,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support the Constitution
to support the Constitution
of the United States
Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of Second Deputy Town Clerk.
Second Deputy Town Clerk. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. We're very happy to have you as part of the team. Okay, the boys in water are getting a shiny new truck. How do you feel about that, Bill? Then why is he getting the extended cab? Oh, okay. The truth comes out.
Well, every now and then, he does need help from Highway that they have to go with him. So instead of taking 2 trucks, he will now have 1 truck, and you can have your own truck for whatever you need.
Honest with you, he does have a lot of like technical equipment and stuff that you don't want rattling around in the back of a truck, so he likes to keep it in the back seat because it's not cheap equipment, so.
Well,
nice.
he'll have tons of storage in his utility bed. Okay, anyway, we're going to give him a hard time about this for a long time. So, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Monroe makes a motion to approve the purchase of the specialized water department utility vehicle at the purchase price of $101,467.50 to Healy Brothers and authorizes the supervisor to, oops, I think
Yes, you
someone
make
else
that
has to read
motion
that part.
that the authorizes the supervisor to sign for the new water truck.
Call the question? I'm sorry, someone has to second
Yeah,
that.
Rivera will second, and Rivera, aye.
Hingham, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Stevens, aye.
Okay, so now we have ratification of Smith Clove Park seasonal hiring. The Smith Clove Park Board rehired previously approved employees and started them off schedule with the town board meetings, so we are just approving that and making it formal for payroll. So be it resolved that the town board of the town of Monroe made a motion to ratify the seasonal hiring of Michael Jacoby, Robert Nenna, and Richard Strenkop for Smith Clove Park effective April 2nd, 2026, as previously initiated by the Smith Clove Park Commission, an hourly rate of $20 an hour, $17 an hour, and $16 an hour, respectively.
Rivera will second.
Call the question.
Rivera, aye.
Hingham, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Stevens, aye.
And we have the appointment of some new Climate Smart community members, and I'm glad that these three will be kicking us off and starting to grow the Climate Smart community. Thank you to Heather for her patience. I know, it's not easy being on a committee right now when the town is going through this transition. So be it resolved that the town board of the town of Monroe makes a motion to appoint the following to the Climate Smart community with a term to expire December 31st, 2026. So we are adding Rich Fagel, Fred Schupfer, and Rick Colon to the committee.
Hingham will second.
Call the question.
Rivera, aye.
Hingham, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Stevens, aye.
Approval of employment status change for Sue Ciriello. So Sue has been doing a great job. We started her off at part-time account clerk to make sure that she had a grasp of the finance department. Helen Knickerbocker has been training her on everything that she knew in her many years here, and she's taken it in stride, and she's already adding value to the town, and she's decided that she can commit to full-time hours. So be it resolved that the town board of the town of Monroe hereby authorizes the change in status for Sue Ciriello from part-time account clerk to full-time account clerk. Sue is now pre-approved under the HELPS program effective April 16th, 2026, after fulfilling Orange County's criteria. She's been assigned to position number 14419H, which has been reclassified to the non-competitive class pursuant to the HELPS program, and this appointment shall become effective April 21st, 2026, at an annual salary of $45,500. This appointment is contingent upon county civil service and HELPS stipulations.
Rivera will second.
Call the question.
Rivera, aye.
Hingham, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Stevens, aye.
And we have the addition of another new team member. Pedro Arroyo is joining us as seasonal laborer in the maintenance department. So be it resolved that the town board of the town of Monroe makes the following motion. I'm going to actually just say, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Monroe hereby authorizes the hiring of Pedro Arroyo as seasonal laborer at a rate of $20 an hour effective April 21st, 2026.
Will second.
Call the question.
Rivera, aye.
Hingham, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Stevens, aye.
Val, we have your Niagara conference. I don't know if you want to just make a quick comment on that, or you want us to just...
Yes, so every year, this is one of the conferences that is offered to the town clerks. It's our records management conference, which is taking place this year in Lake Placid from June 7th to the 9th. I'm planning to attend. I will be staying through the 10th as the Tuesday afternoon class starts at 2 o'clock. They weren't sure what time it was going to get out. It's a 4-hour drive home. So the hotel cost is $704.20 for 3 nights, which includes meals. Conference registration is $30, and that is 243 miles. I believe that was round trip. I'm going to have to do that again. No, it's not. It's 243 miles each way. So I'm looking for the board to approve that.
Make it a not to exceed $800, or do you want us to increase that?
Well, it actually has to be increased because the
Because it-
240,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
I wouldn't be coming back from Lake Placid.
No, you'd be walking.
Can't we just approve it, knowing her hotel cost and adding,
Well, how
standard
about we just
mileage
say,
rate?
Yeah,
No.
not to exceed $1,000. I think
Okay.
that would be
Yeah,
fair.
we have to do a limit, a cap, so,
Yeah.
that's including meals and everything, Val, right?
It includes
1,000?
meals. The only meal that it probably would not include is Sunday night's meal.
So 1,000's good, Mary?
That's fine, I don't go
Yeah.
crazy.
I think we can stick to just a bagel and schmear, Val, that's it. All right, I'm gonna make the motion to approve Valerie Bitzer's town clerk training at the Lake Placid Niagara 2026 conference at the cost not to exceed $1,000.
Bingham will second.
Call the question.
Rivera, aye.
Bingham, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Stevens, aye.
Okay, I want to take a second and thank the IBEW 363 for, solving some tough interdepartmental problems, and also Bill Brown, our highway superintendent, and Ed Morales for coming to the table to make, our dial-a-ride program function the way that it needs to. So our guys in highway have made a lot of sacrifices. We only have 2 mechanics for 9 buses, Ed, as well as all of the town's vehicles, the highway department's vehicles, which are heavy machinery. So we have 1 lift in the highway department, and so these guys really do some black magic to get it done. We saw it this winter. We heard from residents that they were the best in the game. They kept the trucks on the road, so we would like to thank them for all that they do and outline that things need to expand in that department. So we were able to sit with Frank, who was incredibly, generous with his time and understanding of the town's needs, as well as courteous to the union there. So just want to thank everybody that we're gonna meet this deadline and get this done with our filed safety plan. So, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Monroe,
Anybody else needs to make,
yeah, it does, because I'm getting authorized to sign. I wanted to read it.
Oh, Can I read the be
Yeah,
resolved?
go ahead.
Okay, be resolved that the town board of the town of Monroe made the following resolution, and it'll be seconded in a minute. Whereas the town of Monroe operates a dial-a-ride program through Orange County and is responsible for the maintenance of the vehicles used in said program, and whereas the town of Monroe currently employs 2 full-time highway department mechanics who possess the necessary skills to maintain these vehicles, and whereas a memorandum of understanding has been drafted between the town of Monroe and IBEW Local Union 363 to establish the updated terms of this maintenance arrangement, including the scheduling protocols, drug testing requirements, and a temporary wage increase for the mechanics involved in advance of our mandatory safety plan filed with Orange County, and whereas the town board finds it in the best interest of the town to utilize internal resources and union labor for the maintenance of dial-a-ride vehicles to ensure safety, efficiency, and equitable terms, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Monroe hereby approves the memorandum of understanding between the town of Monroe and IBEW Local Union 363 as presented. The town board hereby authorizes Supervisor Maureen Richardson to execute the MOU and any other necessary documents to finalize this agreement. 1, the terms of the MOU, including the temporary, my computer just did something wacky. Okay, the terms of the MOU, including the temporary $2 per hour wage increase for the 2 town mechanics, shall remain in effect until the town hires a full-time mechanic to split duties between highway and dial-a-ride, or until the expiration of the agreement as specified therein. 2, the town board authorizes the supervisor to sign the updated dial-a-ride biannual safety plan as required for filing with the Orange County and New York State DOT, NYSDOT. 3, the resolution shall take effect immediately.
Rivera will second.
Thank you. Call the question.
Rivera, aye.
Bingham, aye?
Richardson, aye.
Stevens, aye.
So moved. And another authorization for me to sign, so someone else will have to read this. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is the intermunicipal agreement for dial-a-ride bus services. This agreement made by and between the town of Monroe and the town of Woodbury municipal corporations organized under the laws of the state of New York is entered into pursuant to Article 5-G of the General Municipal Law. Whereas the town of Monroe operates a dial-a-bus system
Hold on,
within the
Louis.
town.
I'm gonna stop you for a second. Are you
Sure.
reading,
Am I doing the right one?
yeah, so you're reading the actual IMA. We made a motion. Darius, just as long as we all have the IMA and it was published within the 24 hours, he can just read our shortened version of the motion, right? Okay, so click into the detailed agenda item, Lou, and
On the screen, too.
yeah, read the short new business, be it resolved, and that
Sure.
will cover you.
Make sure I get to that. Let's see here. There it is. So this is a motion for the authorization for the supervisors to sign the dial-a-ride Woodbury IMA. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Monroe made a motion authorizing the supervisor to sign the 2026 dial-a-ride Woodbury IMA at a renewal rate of $18,500 paid to Monroe, contingent on attorney's final approval of contract terms. May I have a second?
Bingham will second.
Call the question?
Rivera, aye.
Bingham, aye.
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 And the Woodbury Animal Shelter. Mary, you want to take this?
Resolved that the town board of the town of Monroe made a motion authorizing the supervisor to sign the Woodbury Animal Shelter IMA, renewing the contract terms at a cost of not to exceed $33,000, and any outstanding terms contingent upon supervisor and attorney's final approval. Second?
Rivera will second.
Call the question?
Rivera, aye.
Bingham, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Stevens, aye.
Okay. And now we have raffle consent form, Access Supports for Living Foundation. So every once in a while, the town gets a request about raffle tickets, usually done by a 501c3, which is a charitable organization. In this case, it is called the Access Supports for Living Foundation. They support individuals in navigating intellectual and developmental disabilities, mental health challenges, substance use, poverty. As indicated, they will not be setting up tables at any locations nor selling door-to-door within Monroe for this raffle. It is in support of fundraising efforts and will be drawn on June 1st in the town of Wallkill, where the license is domiciled. So that was part of an email chain that they gave Valerie earlier today. So they're just looking for standard approval. We already have a local law, I believe, on the books that allows us to just approve this, correct, Val?
This is kind of like the Habitat for Humanity that you guys have approved in the past. So
Oh, the
you're either
music.
looking to approve or deny their application.
The Music for Humanity or something that. Alrighty, so be it resolved that the town board of the town of Monroe makes a motion to approve the raffle consent form, Access Supports for Living Foundation.
Will second.
Call the question?
Rivera, aye.
Bingham, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Stevens, aye.
Thank you. We've reached public comment, so anyone who has signed up to speak.
Supervisor, if I can interrupt for 1 second, do you want to do a motion from the floor?
Oh, that was for the bond release, yeah?
24 Raywood.
So, Darius, we have that bond that has an expiration date of 2025, and we were not sure if we should make the motion to release. If it's moot, they asked us about it. We didn't put it on the agenda just because we didn't know.
Yeah, I know the applicant requested that we release the bond. It did expire a year ago. All the work has been completed according to the building inspector, so if you want to
So I'll make the motion that the town board of the town of Monroe release the 24 Raywood LLC bond for work contingent upon building inspector approval, which has already been given.
The bond was also the amount of $16,500.
16,500.
Rivera will second.
Call the question?
Rivera, aye.
Am I?
Oh, Richardson, aye. Mary's distracting me.
A discussion, sorry. I just want everyone to know, moving forward, motions from the floor, I have literally nothing in front of me to review this. It's just what was discussed.
You can vote no.
So I just want everyone to know moving forward that, because it really is about you guys, it's about the residents and making sure that we have all the right information in front of us to make these decisions. So yes, from now on, if I don't have the information in front of me, it'll be a no. So Stevens, nay.
To address that, this is a town board meeting, and while we have open meetings law that dictates that very serious public votes should be posted and documentation should be made in good faith, at least 24 hours posted, we're allowed to change the agenda at any moment's notice because the ebb and flow of the public engagement and the will of the board members and the discussions that come out of these meetings might change the direction of what we're going to vote on. So that is completely normal and functional, and that is why that motions from floor exist, because we have open meetings law, which locks us into doing at least a 24-hour advance notice for our residents on these important things, whereas the smaller piecemeal that we still need approval to meet deadlines and other things, that doesn't need to be posted, but it does need to be approved so that the wheels of the town keep turning. So while we make every effort to put everything on the agenda in advance, this is not the first time and not the last that we're going to have motions from the floor. So, okay, we are also going to do another motion from the floor. So we have obviously a gap in our planning zoning department, leaving no one to sign on behalf of the planning board, zoning board secretary. So I would like to make the motion to formally appoint town clerk Valerie Bitzer to sign on behalf of Noreen McSweeney when, that work needs to be signed off.
Rivera will second.
Call the question?
Rivera, aye.
Am I?
Richardson, aye.
That's an easy one. Stevens, aye.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, we've reached public comment, or do we have any other business that we weren't able to include?
No.
All good? Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to announce the first speaker, followed by the next speaker. When you come up to the mic, please state your name, leave the mic in its stand. You'll have 3 minutes for comment. First speaker is Carol Soteropoulos, followed by Nora Stefanel.
Good evening. On February 2nd, I came before the board regarding 2 bills coming up before our state legislature, bills that would protect our local immigrant population as well as us all from the overreach of federal policing tactics. I submitted drafts of resolutions supporting these bills, bills that do not cost taxpayers a penny. We thank the board for adopting one in support of the MELT Act, and we have long been awaiting your decision on the New York for All Act. It seemed reception was positive, as indicated on March 16th, when I was present as the board requested its attorney to review the draft for potential amending. I came again on April 6th, hoping to hear that it had been prepared for a vote, and if the majority concurred, that it would then be signed and sent up to our state representatives and governor. On April 6th, following my public comments, individual board members expressed positive views. The board chair spoke last, and what seemed a sudden turn toward a negative stance took me by complete surprise. Evidently, I was not supposed to be surprised, as the chair indicated that I had, quote unquote, been told of the chair's stance. This prompted me to listen to the video recordings of the prior meetings to understand what I might have missed. Well, perhaps this stance was expressed somewhere else, to someone else, some other time, but never to me, never in this public forum. Anyone can check this for themselves. I just want to set the record straight, particularly as I felt I was being in some way admonished for my having lamented a lack of transparency. Okay, to the point here. No argument was given for or against the merits of this proposed piece of legislation, and so I am not here to waste anyone's time repeating the provisions of the New York for All Act. Those who pay attention to news about it know that many towns, villages, and city boards have passed resolutions of support. No, instead, I am here again to respond to the following that was said to me on April 6th. Quote, "We are a local town. We are not your state representatives. We told you we don't feel comfortable establishing that you would come to us regarding state legislation," end quote. Truthfully, I was in such disbelief that I have played over that portion of the April 6th meeting several times. Perhaps the intent was this, that local officials ought not to impose their will or judgment or position on state legislators unless the issue directly affects the local populace, local matters, local environment. I understand this perspective. In this case, most would agree that this act, the New York for All, directly impacts any town, city, county with a high percentage of immigrant residents. That is us, and I respectfully request the board to reconsider. I have brought here just one little handout. These are news articles from, excerpts of news articles from Peekskill, Kingston, and New Paltz that speak to this issue about what the role is of local government and toward the state legislature.
Time.
So that is, my time is up, and I thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Nora Steffanel, followed by Heather Ciani.
How do I speak into the microphone?
I'm allowed to touch it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. My name is Nora Steffanel, and I'm a resident of Monroe. I listened to your last meeting, and I think there are two issues here. First, is it proper for the board to support this resolution? Our town supervisor said, "We try hard to keep actual politics out of this zone." But me, I don't see this as politics. I see it as taking a public stand to protect our terrified immigrant neighbors. We are here because in addition to letters and phone calls from individual constituents, an effective means of having our voices heard is for the town to send this resolution to the state. Such resolutions, known as memorializing resolutions, are of course non-binding. Here are a few of the New York municipalities that have passed resolutions: Peekskill, Hudson, Oneonta, Cooperstown, New Paltz Village and Town, Newburgh, Rochester, Syracuse, and New York City. New Paltz, in fact, adopted a resolution that included 4 bills: MELT, New York for All, Dignity Not Detention, and Access to Representation. As of April 3rd, 96 state legislators stated publicly that they are backing it. It is picking up steam by the day. A resolution supporting New York for All from our town board is not a big ask. You have already supported the MELT Act. Second, the federal government insists it is only deporting, quote, criminals. It conflates criminal law with civil law. Being undocumented in the United States is a civil immigration violation, not a criminal offense. Federal law treats unlawful presence as grounds for deportation, but not for criminal prosecution. We know of 6 verified cases of Monroe residents with no criminal record having been forcibly taken away. Hardworking family people who contribute to our tax base, who patronize our businesses, whose traumatized children attend our schools when they are not too afraid to leave their homes. These are just the verified cases. And as far as having a past criminal history goes, if someone shoplifted or even committed a violent crime and served their time, and it was years ago, is it fair to penalize them further by deportation? Sounds like double jeopardy. There will be accountability for the many abductions, detentions, and deportations of non-criminal immigrants. Do you not want to say that as our town representatives, you did all you could do? Do you not want to tell your children, grandchildren, nephews, and nieces that you stepped up to the plate in public as a member of the town board and not just a private resident?
I'm sorry to cut you off, but your time right now. Thank you so much.
I'm asking you to please reconsider and resolve that our town board supports the New York for All Act.
Thank you.
Heather Ciani, followed by Ellen Devlin.
Heather?
Heather Ciani, followed by Ellen Devlin.
Microphone's lower, I need that too, so. Good evening. So my name is Heather Ciani, and I'm the coordinator for the Town of Monroe's Climate Smart Committee. First of all, I want to thank you for going ahead and we're going to have 3 members appointed. And so far, these prospecting members and myself, we're still in the early stages of development and planning, for this committee, but we're steadily moving forward. So I just, want to mention a little bit of what we're accomplishing so far. So far, we've submitted some documents from the repair cafes to try to get points for that, to achieve Climate Smart certification. We're working on creating a natural resource inventory, which will help protect natural resources and manage growth wisely. We're researching ways to reduce food waste as well, which Rich might eventually elaborate further on that as well, as we're both working on that. As a matter of fact, Rich Fagel and I will be attending a Climate Smart Summit up in Utica this June, which we hope to bring back some information, takeaways to help support our efforts in our agenda. And that's pretty much it for now, but I just wanted to thank you again for appointing these 3 members. So far, their combined expertise and knowledge has been invaluable to this committee, and I'm very, very much looking forward to working with them. So
We do have to schedule a meeting. I know that everything has taken precedent over Climate Smart Community. It's not a statement.
Right.
It's just that
I understand.
everything is, just been a whirlwind here, but we're finally making it through to a clear, smooth ocean. I really don't want to jinx that. I regret saying that. But basically, I wanted to ask you, do you have everybody already with an email login for the portal, or do you need me to contact the coordinator on the Climate Smart for that?
Yeah, everyone has access to that portal.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, so we're all set with that. Yep.
And I do want to, I think our best place to start, if you have a meeting, we could first of all put an ad out in the photo news now that we have, more of a solid understanding. You could pick a date that you guys want to meet in a recurring fashion. You could meet here if you want. It could be at the same time as the Conservation Commission. You can discuss that amongst yourselves. Let us know. We'll start adding those meetings to the town's public calendar. We'll post to grow more membership. And I would like to sit and speak with the existing members about going through the old town board resolutions, because even things such as like our wetlands law was not actually uploaded into this online portal despite Monroe having this access for a few years, and those kinds of things actually get us points. So I know there are a lot of things that Monroe already does that are positive for the environment that get us points that are not actually reflective in that online portal. So just doing that sort of backlog work and taking an inventory would be, I think, the best place to start.
Sure, we'll do that. And actually, we've had a few Zoom meetings so far, just with us, but I will definitely, extend that to you as well, and try to plan either in person or Zoom, whatever works best for everyone. So, thank you very much for your time.
Sounds great.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you so.
Thank you.
Heather, can I just ask, I know Rick Colon is here, the other two members, I don't see Fred here. Is the other gentleman here that got appointed
Fred
tonight?
is not here tonight, no.
Okay, is the other gentleman here tonight?
Yeah, Rick and Rich are both here.
Okay, so at the end of the meeting, if the both of you don't mind coming up by me so I can give you your oath of office, that'd be great. Thank you. Ellen Devlin, followed by Rick Colon.
Good evening. I'm Ellen Devlin, and I'm here representing, I'm a member of the Monroe Senior Center, and I just want to thank the board for all the support. It feels like we're getting so much more support now, and coming to some of our events, and it's nice to see some of you at them, and for hiring this wonderful new director.
I think that deserves a round of applause.
He has made it so much more fun. Some of you were at the Easter party. We had a bunny all dressed up and a coloring contest, and he's just adding not just activities, but time. He's adding more time onto the schedule. So I just want to thank you all, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's always great to receive good news like that. Ed deserves all of the flowers we can give him. It is night and day over there.
Rick Colon?
Glad I didn't break it. Good
Crouch.
evening, everybody, and thank you. First off, I'd like to extend my thanks to all of the previous speakers. It's not easy for a lot of people who live their daily lives and to come here and to be on television and speak in public. So thank you for showing up to the meeting. And even if you don't agree with everything that's said by either the previous speakers or by the panel, it's good that we have a public interest and more dialogue from the town to this board. It's very important. And it's going to make a big difference going forward for this town. I also like to extend my congratulations to all the newly added staff members, and thank you very much.
Thanks, Rick.
That's all for public comment.
I just wanted to respond since I was called out personally in one of the comments. If I send the speaker the original, let's say, clip of myself explaining previously that I think my words were, this is a bipartisan board, and we feel that it's not the right place, despite what our political or state level beliefs are, to entertain state level requests, no matter what we support here. Because after we reviewed the bills, there are several on the table, and those are the discretion of state representatives, and it does get very political in a different sense rather than elections. I think Louis and I both voiced off the dais that we don't actually have a police force. So on top of my calling you personally after you came here originally in February, asking for agenda time, which is technically not the right process, because asking for agenda time actually means that the person who requested that becomes a item on the agenda where they present for, could be 10 minutes. So I called you personally. I asked you if you wanted to speak more in depth about these bills, and you were given the opportunity to give up to 10 minutes per agenda item about these bills and use that time publicly, and you said no, that you just wanted us to pass these resolutions. Well, at that point, it was up to our discretion to then decide as a board what we were wanting to pass. We immediately felt comfortable weighing in on the MELT Act, as I explained at one of the prior meetings, that it's the only bill of its kind. People in law enforcement should not be hiding their face. We were under threat of becoming a neighbor to the ICE facility. When we took a look at the other act, I have no problem saying that that's not my purview. I'm not a state senator. I'm not an assembly person. We don't have a police force. So we support, or I support, I'm going to speak for myself, every sentiment that you've said. But do I feel comfortable weighing in on state level legislation? No, because those are line after line after line of bill language that I haven't looked at. And there are different bills being proposed, and there's a reason for that. And I did voice that personally. We discussed this behind the scenes, and that indeed you are correct. We feel that this is a place where the success that I personally have had as both a council person and starting this new transition to supervisor is that no matter who you are, you could be red, white, blue, purple, pink, whatever. When you turn on your faucet, your water is supposed to be clean, clear, and functioning. Your driveway is supposed to connect to a town road. Those roads are supposed to be cleared in the winter time. And that is my purview. I don't have sort of, I'll put it, delusions of grandeur that my personal input or resolution, sending that up to my state senator, is going to change the unfortunate nature of today's world. And that's why I've encouraged you guys in both a private capacity and a public one to use your voices here, as we also have ethics laws that limit what we entertain here. And town hall is for town business, and that's just what I feel. So that's what we decided. I think the attorney and myself are just so inundated day to day in many court cases, legal issues regarding land use, permitting, development, building maintenance, everything of that nature, that we're okay leaving it to people who spend every day reading these bills, and we're okay leaving it to those specialists and advocacy groups. That's basically what I have on that. Want to take it?
Yeah, so,
Yes, sir.
so good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out tonight. Your presence and your continued engagement in our town truly matters. It's always encouraging to see residents take the time to stay informed and involved in what's happening here in Monroe. I want to acknowledge something that's been we've been experiencing lately, which is the weather. Last week, temperatures were in the 80s. This morning, I woke up to 32 degrees. It's a reminder of how unpredictable things can be and how important it is for us as a community to stay adaptable and prepared, right? I also like to take a moment to recognize some important collaborative efforts that benefit our residents specifically. Obviously, these things were mentioned tonight, but I'm going to mention them again. I want to thank Maureen Richardson and Supervisor Jackie Hernandez for the work on the intermunicipal agreements for both the Dial-A-Ride and the animal shelter. These are essential services that many in our community rely on, and partnerships like this help us deliver more efficient help to our constituents. And when municipalities work together, everyone benefits. Tonight is also a great opportunity to celebrate well-deserved appointments. So a special congratulations to Barbara Singer on her appointment as First Deputy Town Clerk, and to Mildred Torres on her appointment as Second Deputy Town Clerk. These roles are critical to the day-to-day operations of our town, and I'm confident both of you will serve with dedication and professionalism. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to Rich Fagel, Fred Schufer, and Rick Colon as they join the Climate Smart Community Initiative. This is an important step forward as we continue to focus on sustainability, environmental responsibility, and long-term future of Monroe. Your involvement brings valuable perspective and energy to this effort. As we move forward, Monroe continues to grow, not in size, but in collaboration, leadership, and community spirit, whether it's through a special regional partnerships, new appointments, or volunteer initiatives. We are building something stronger together. So once again, thank you to everyone here tonight. Your participation is what keeps our town moving in the right direction. I have like a few seconds left. I just want to say that the New York for All Act, there's so many facets to it. And, you know, it's something like we've mentioned, like Supervisor mentioned before, we don't have a police force. So because we don't have a police force, it's kind of hard for us to impose something that really, there's no one to impose it on because we don't have a police force.
So the New York for All Act, in general, I'm in support of it, but there is a section that says the New York for All Act will do just that by prohibiting state and local resources from being diverted to carry out a cruel and inhumane federal deportation agenda. That's from the New York City ACLU. The biggest problem we have is we don't have a police force. So that's one reason why this New York for All Act, the way it is written right now, that's why the board can't support it, because we don't have that section that applies to us. But in general, I supported the MELT Act, and I would support the New York for All Act if it could be reworded a certain way, that the local resources, that section would be taken out. That's kind of my opinion on it, and I'll be glad to discuss it with you in the future.
There's also the governor's bill on it. I haven't compared the two, but clearly there's a debate up in the state Senate. I think we can all rule out that, you know, no one on the board is in support of cruelty. Beth had made prior comments about the militarization of ICE. You know, we've attended protests, and, you know, we're just trying to avoid making the town hall into a place where, you know, we pretend that we make state legislation happen, because we do have so much to focus on. Beth?
Yeah, first real quick, Heather, I'm so excited to see what you are going to do with the team and this climate smart community. Long before I was even running for office, I remember seeing what they were doing over in Woodbury and being like, why can't we have that in Monroe? So I know you're going to make that happen for us, and I look forward to supporting you and your whole team on that effort, because it's going to be a big lift to get that started, so I really appreciate it. It's no secret, I do have a differing opinion on the New York for All Act, and that's okay. We can all have different opinions. I agree, we don't have a police force, you know, so why should we be even weighing in on this? I do see it as town business because it does affect members of our town. I'm going to try not to identify, you know, the person too closely, but last year I came to know a mixed status family. Keep in mind, the mother is a naturalized citizen, fully here legally, a homeowner in our town, works full-time as a nurse, single mom, 2 kids. It got difficult for her working those nursing hours, and her mother, elderly from elsewhere, brought her here and was working on the immigration process. So we're talking about a abuela just taking care of grandkids while mom's working hard. And grandma got hurt. Grandma had to go to the emergency room and was threatened by ICE in the emergency room. And so even though, you know, that hospital's not here in Monroe, that's a Monroe resident, and I know that family personally, so that's why it's really not hard for me to be okay with the New York for All Act, because it does keep ICE out of our schools and out of our hospitals, and it does affect our residents. So I'm still open to supporting it if any of my board members change their mind in the future. But yes, that's where I stand. Thank you.
Thank you, and yeah, just to reiterate, just because it affects Monroe residents, I have to often refer people to Congress, I have to refer people to state senate, I have to refer people to the county to manage certain areas of citizenship and everything else like that. So we don't really have a say in that, and again, we're happy to support any presentations that you guys make. Was there any reason to go into executive? Nope. All right, so I'm going to make the motion to end the April 20th meeting of 2020 at 8:00 p.m.
Rivera will second.
Call the question?
Rivera, aye.
Bingham, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Stevens, aye.
I could just get Rich and Rick to come up.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.